Hey, today we're going to talk a little bit about composition. The difference between a really memorable picture and one which is kind of ordinary may actually be mostly an issue of composition. The first principle we want to talk about is called the rule of thirds. Please pardon the questionable handwriting. The photo should have the following three elements. It should have foreground, subject, and background. And they should be, in most cases, in relative equal proportions to one another for a composition which is pleasing to the eye. The foreground kind of establishes where you're coming from. The main subject is what you are most interested in, and the background gives a sense of where you're going. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at a well-composed image which has successfully done that. Okay, and we can see we have the foreground, which is the leaves. We have the main subject, which in this case is arguably the trees, although many would argue equally well that it's the church. And then the background is the sky. So again, rule of thirds, you can certainly play with it to varying degrees, and that will change the perspective that you get in the picture. Now, the rule of thirds also brings us down to a further subdivision, which is really the rule of ninths. If we make a tic-tac-toe and take our image and make it into basically 9 areas, you'll note that in this photo we have a circle at the bottom right axis and a circle at the bottom left axis where the lines cross. The reason is that the way the human eye looks at things, and you can check this on your own, is that it is best if you have your main point of interest or your point of action at one of these 4 axes in the photo, again, for something that is the most pleasing to the human eye. We tend to shoot with things dead on center, and if you look at those pictures, they're kind of a little bit less interesting. They're a little static, whereas if you have it in one of those 4 spots, it's what they call more dynamic. It gives a sense that we're moving from one spot to another, that something is happening.